In the backdrop of the Trump presidency, there's a group of young people trying to solve a problem. A problem that hinders students who are performing in the lowest quartile in mathematics. Young people all over the country unanimously agree that mathematics is a precursor to STEM education. And as it stands, mathematics is a real institutional obstacle of graduating on time and without remediation. Math is basically everywhere, and everything has to do with math. Some even go on to say being math literate is vital, if not absolutely essential, to be able to access any kind of citizenship in this country. If the math literacy problem is solved, that would mean broadening the participation in STEM education for STEM careers for the most vulnerable populations in the country. A young person in the Bay Area who categorizes herself as a math nerd expresses, end quote, "I try to bring my whole self, not just my math literacy work, but my dreams to be a mathematician." Although some kids do not aspire to be these things, there is still a community that supports their efforts. Mathematics is a real white space, and I'm still trying to figure out how to fully immerse myself into it. But when I teach in the Young People's Project classrooms, I can implement my full self. I'm also open to sharing the struggles that I have with math. I know that I do not look like a mathematician in the world outside of my YPP classrooms, but what's most important is that my students see me as this mathematician, which they do, which I am. If they can see me as that, all things mathematically are then made possible for them. When Bob Moses travels the country and speaks to math teachers, they always ask him, how is it that the Algebra Project can get kids to want to learn math? He simply tells them that there are two things that must happen. He says that the kid needs to know a little bit of math, and you must be able to get their attention. And of course, number two, getting their attention is the harder thing. Young people trying to solve this problem have figured out, without knowing Bob's secret formula, that when mathematics is put into the form of games and sports, math literacy is achieved. A comrade in this fight for math literacy said that, end quote, "We try to make math a little more easier and more understandable. We have games to try to make it fun and more understanding at the same time. We want to break things down a little further to make them more comfortable when they are learning." If we can also embed this personality of being a problem solver, when new things, sometimes challenging concepts, are put forth in math and beyond, hiding from the problem will be eliminated. If we can get students to say, "I can do this, just let me try it," we will be victorious. But young people teaching other young people math know about being victorious in this game, and they know it's hard to come by. Sometimes it's the teacher. Some teachers who come from different neighborhoods do not understand their students all too well, because the cultures are split and the same language are not being spoken, metaphorically and literally. The student voice has realized sometimes teachers have a hard time explaining things to a diverse population of students. If kids see a challenge, they hide in the corner. The preconceived notions of fear in mathematics is real in our classrooms, but I want to know, who's telling our children that? With the population we work with, we have many behavior issues. And it's not because the kid is naturally bad. Sometimes students are not in the best conditions at home, and that plays a major factor in the ability to learn in school. Kids come to school hungry, and the do now on the board says find x squared. What the student is trying to find is some food, which will allow his brain to function a little better in trying to do that do now. On the same token, with high school students, they may be going through their own natural transitions. Managing these stresses with the stresses of saying, and thinking, oh wait, we're teaching someone else's child. You realize it is hard to turn kids into professionals. The toughest obstacle of them all is when they are not with us for that 90 minutes, the rest of the world is constantly beating up on them. Through it all though, young people teaching math know what works. The community building aspect that the Young People's Project and the Algebra Project embeds into the work works. Coming from a space that talks strictly about mathematics all the time and entering a math literacy worker space where there's a whole element of community building that really makes the playing field and learning field more accessible. In the strictly math spaces, if you did not know what pi squared was, you were out. It was you were right or you were wrong. The bridge which connects mathematics and community building creates a space where everyone belongs, and that is what YPP and AP does for all students. That brings us to the question of what is missing so that we can best prepare students for STEM education and math literacy, and most importantly, graduation without remediating classes over and over. It's a no-brainer that the math that is being taught needs reform. The traditional method is very old and in need of a change, especially the way it is taught. It's like trying to see an elephant through a straw. There's a complex body of knowledge we are not giving students enough time to experiment with. If we step back a little and do things in an experiential and a very patient way, then we just might see some results and, we might be able to let them see the bigger picture. In addition to this, why aren't we giving students the ability to study flagway, road coloring, trip line, racing against time on phones and computers at home? The student voice has been very interested in bringing technology aspects to the table to give students additional applications of the math that they do in school. Students need to see representations of the math in different ways for it to stick. We're not offering students the experiences to be technological producers and information creators everywhere that they go. At this point, young people in this group have drawn a line in the sand and are collectively saying, as Fannie Lou Hamer once said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Although these problems that Fannie and the young people of today face are different, they are both demanding systematic reform that will bring about liberation for millions of people to rise from the streets to the suites.
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching on and